Recently, when I was rummaging through some old boxes, I found this piece of paper, which has a piece of writing on it that I have absolutely no reason why I would have written this. But I wrote my name and I dated it, so I know that I wrote it when I was 9 years old, and I'm going to share it with you guys. I think that we are taught to write is because if you couldn't write, you would be lost in the world. Think what things go back to writing. Very important papers had to be written and signed to give America peace. How would we communicate if we never learned the alphabet? How would we live without letters? I rest my point. My father is a lawyer, if that clears any of that up. I'm not sure if just loving to write means that I'm a writer, but as far as I'm concerned, I am. For a 9-year-old, that idea is really easy to believe in. You know, this idea that I care about something, so that's my identity. That's who I am. That's what I believe in. As I grew a little bit older, it became harder and harder to believe in. When I was in high school, it was something that I pulled back from. You know, I hid my writing, and I didn't want to tell anybody that I was a writer. And it was because whether it was me or the writing or this idea of this label was so hard to live up to, I felt like I wasn't good enough. And I went on to college thinking that this was my chance to, really dive deep into this idea, really get a chance to explore writing, pursue writing, and do what I wanted in my classes. And I told this to my advisor, and my advisor told me that writing was a terrible idea for a career, that I would never make money at it, and so I shouldn't pursue it. And unfortunately, I listened to him. I decided to be pre-law. I decided to pursue philosophy and do something sensible and write in my own time. I pulled back further, feeling, again, not good enough. And then I went for a junior year abroad in Scotland, and it changed so many things about my perspective. And one of the biggest ones was that I really felt that there was this one thing that I cared about, this one thing that I loved, and I had since I was 9 years old. And I had a responsibility to myself to pursue it. That if it wasn't going to work out, it wasn't going to be because I didn't try hard enough. And so I did. I struggled for several years, and finally I was able to publish my first book, SCARLET, in 2012, and my second, Lady Thief, earlier this year, in February. And at the time, I really thought that this was something that was my fault. It was a failing on my part that I felt not good enough for so long. And then I started to work with Boston Glow, an organization in the area where I get to work with teenage girls. And I get to work with girls who say that they don't want to apply to the contest. One of our main initiatives is the Ignite Change Leadership Contest. And girls say they don't want to apply because they don't think that they're going to win. And then I get to work with girls in workshops who ask me, can you stay just a little bit longer because nobody talks to us about these sort of things? And then I get to read the essays of girls who have applied to the contest. And I hear all the ways in which their voices have been silenced. And I realized that this is not just my problem. This is not something that I feel and that I am alone in feeling. And so I wonder, in an organization titled Glow and with an Ignite Change Leadership Contest, we tend to use a lot of fire imagery. So I tend to think a lot about this idea of sparks and what it means to give off light and share that light and have it catch in someone else. And I've come to think that's not enough. It's not nearly enough. You can't just be a spark. If there's something that you care about, something that you love, something that you're passionate about, you have to be a bonfire. Because every day there's somebody around you who needs to see that and feel the heat of that fire on their face. So the one thing I have to tell you is that if you want to inspire change, if you want to change the world, be bright and let the world see you. Thank you.